The Galactic Council declared them criminals. Banished from civilized space, their ships drifted without refuge, until one primitive world defied the order. "Welcome to our system," said Captain Jake Morrison, extending a hand. No other civilization dared offer. Why would Earth risk everything for exiles the galaxy feared? Dr. Vex's hands trembled as the quantum drive initiated its final test cycle. The lab monitors showed optimal conditions, perfect containment fields, flawless matter-antimatter ratios. This would revolutionize interstellar travel. Instead, the containment lattice flickered once, twice, then collapsed like a dying star. Duaraim. Quantum field rupture propagated faster than emergency protocols could respond. Space-time fractured along precisely calculated but fatally underestimated stress vectors. 3 inhabited systems along the Zapirian core transit network ceased existing in less time than it takes a human heart to beat. 18 billion lives. 63 garden worlds, all converted to unstable exotic particles dispersing into the void. 12 ships survived. Guardian-class evacuation vessels designed for Imperial family contingencies, now overloaded with whatever civilians had reached the docks. Life support redlined at 310% capacity. Medical bays became triage zones where surgeons used cargo straps as tourniquets. The survivors numbered exactly 340,219, less than the population of a single Zapirian orbital city. High Judge Thoric's hologram flickered across the surviving fleet comms. His cranial ridges cast jagged shadows as he recited Article 7 of Galactic Defense Statutes. This council finds the Zapirian remnant in violation of quantum technology protocols. The verdict required no deliberation. Effective immediately, all member civilizations shall deny dockage, refueling, or medical assistance to designated contaminated fleets. The vote tally scrolled across every navigation screen. 47 luminescent sigils for exile, 3 against. Minor mining consortiums with no fleet capacity. 2 abstentions from systems already parsing withdrawal documents. Survival protocols, activated automatically. The ship's AG cores reoriented toward the one region of space not bound by council treaties, the unmapped borderlands beyond the Perseus Arm. Their last broadcast before comms lockdown showed a child's hands sketching planetary orbits in condensation on a viewport. Then static engine failures began at the 18-month mark. Zapirian fusion reactors weren't designed for continuous operation without mineral replenishment. First, the civilian vessels lost artificial gravity. Then waste recyclers failed, forcing crews to jettison corpses rather than reprocess them. By year 3, the death toll exceeded 2 million. Lyra Vex, no relation, monitored Earth's primitive radio chatter from her post in the derelict flagship's astrometrics bay. The planet's entertainment broadcasts fascinated her. These humans built stories around hope. On cycle 1142 of Exile, she modified a distress beacon to pulse in their archaic frequency bands. Titan Orbital Control detected the signal 13 hours later. Their response took 7 minutes to compose, 37 light minutes to transmit. No tactical queries, no demands for surrender, just 6 words repeated in 12 Zapirian trade dialects. "We want to help if we can." Chief Engineer Rixall didn't weep when the message arrived. He methodically checked each of his remaining fuel rods, then assembled a landing party from the healthiest crew members. Their environmental suits had been patched 19 times. The Zapirian distress signal reached Earth as a series of prime numbers pulsed across 14 obsolete radio bands. These weren't accidental emissions. They formed the first 12 primes in exact sequence, repeated in 3 mathematical languages no human university had catalogued. Lunar Observatory Director Cho recognized the pattern within 12 minutes. "This isn't just a call for help," she told her counterpart at Jodrell Bank. "It's an intelligence test." NASA's Deep Space Network responded with hydrogen line frequencies. No encryption, no military identifiers, just Planck's constant broadcast, alongside images of DNA helices and the Pythagorean theorem. The message looped for 6 hours until the Zapirians changed their transmission, this time sending slow-scan images of their solar system's planets with chemical compositions labeled in atomic notation. Captain Jake Morrison's cruiser approached, the lead Zepyrian vessel with navigation lights at full intensity. His crew kept weapons safetied and shield generators powered down. The ship's external cameras showed every human crew member visible through viewports, hands empty and palm up, in near-universal surrender posture. Lyra's boarding shuttle matched the gesture. Its outer airlock cycled open to reveal 8 emaciated figures in tattered pressure suits. They carried no sidearms, only hexagonal storage canisters marked with geometric glyphs. Thermal scans showed their body temperatures fluctuating dangerously low, Zepyrian physiology struggling with failing life support. The first object removed from the canisters wasn't technology. It was a crystalline slab, etched with swirling patterns that refracted light into holographic cityscapes. Subsequent containers held musical tonestones that vibrated at precise emotional frequencies when touched, and memory alloys that unfolded into scale models of lost Zepyrian monuments. Our history, Lyra said through the translator app. Morrison's linguist had jury-rigged from children's language learning software. Neither species extended hands for physical contact. The humans kept emergency medkits within reach but didn't advance. Morrison simply activated the docking bay's artificial gravity to match Zepyrian homeworld specs, 0.78 Earth standard. The adjustment took 17 seconds. 2 of the aliens' knees buckled in relief. Morrison's first words bypassed diplomatic protocols entirely. "Welcome to our system." The phrase appeared simultaneously on every display screen in both ships, rendered in Zepyrian ideograms by a linguistics AI trained on their transmissions. Lyra's request came as a chemical formula displayed alongside 3D models of faltering life support nodes. Human medics cross-referenced the compounds against pharmaceutical databases, while engineers studied the broken components. 6 substances had no Earth equivalents. Dr. Aaron Patel's team synthesized analogs by modifying cancer drugs and nanoparticle suspensions. Martian terraforming efforts leapt forward using Zepyrian atmospheric processors. Ice caps retreated as engineered algae converted CO2 to breathable air 40 times faster than Earth models predicted. Dome cities reported their first rainfall within months. The Council's sanctions intended to cripple Earth instead birthed an underground alliance. Every intercepted cargo ship, every jammed transmission, every seized outpost produced more defectors. The very technologies designed to maintain control became Earth's bargaining chips. When the Corfac dreadnoughts finally mobilized for full invasion, they found Earth's orbital space guarded by a fleet bearing 47 different species markings. The lead ship hailed on open channels, a Vega Prime battlecruiser retrofitted with human-designed shields. Its captain transmitted just 5 words: "We are here to help." Below, Earth's cities shone brighter than ever, powered by reactors their exiled guests had helped perfect. The Council's blockade hadn't weakened human resolve. It had given them time to prove compassion could build what fear could not. The Corfac scout emerged from warp at the edge of Earth's heliosphere. Its dark hull absorbed radar pings like a cosmic black hole. Every human defense satellite swiveled to track the unauthorized contact. The ship's transponder identified it as CRF 8921, a reconnaissance vessel from the Council's most militant faction. Its opening transmission took 17 seconds to arrive, just enough time for Admiral Bennett to reach Lunar Command. Surrender, the designated exiles. The message repeated on loop across all frequencies. No demands for negotiation, no offers of terms. Earth's orbital defense grids went live. Motion sensors detected the scouts' weapon ports aligning with critical satellites. Bennett studied the tactical display. The Corfac ship outclassed Earth's best fighters by 3 generations. But the new Mark 7 interceptors circling Mars had Zepyrian modifications, upgraded targeting arrays and jury-rigged quantum jammers. Bennett adjusted her headset. All wings, defensive pattern echo. Weapons tight until fired upon. Lasers painted the human satellites. The scouts' plasma coils charged with a distinctive ultraviolet glow. Bennett gave the order before the enemy could fire. Priority strike on their targeting array, disable only. 6 interceptors dove at 9G acceleration. Their Zepyrian inertial dampeners kept pilots conscious where standard models would have caused blackouts. Railgun slugs laced with quantum disruptors ripped toward the scout. The first volley missed intentionally, a warning shot across the bow. The Corfac commander didn't retreat. His ship's ventral cannon swiveled, targeting locks established on Tokyo, Berlin, and the Martian terraforming stations. Bennett's jaw tightened. Execute full countermeasures. A Zepyrian-designed pulse-emitter on the lead interceptor flared. The wave front hit the scout like an electromagnetic tsunami. Every active system stuttered. Plasma coils dimmed mid-charge. Navigation computers rebooted uncontrollably. The weapons arrays powered down with mechanical groans. Silence stretched across the command channel. Then the scout's engines flared. Its warp signature spiked erratically, the ship fleeing with half its modules still rebooting. Bennett let it go. She hailed the crippled vessel on open frequency. Earth space, you are not welcome here. The message relayed instantly to every Council listening post. Bennett's team tracked 17 separate data bursts from the scout as it limped toward friendly space. None attempted encryption. The Corfac wanted witnesses. 2 hours later, the first covert messages arrived from Council frontier worlds. Free Colony freight captains transmitted tractor beam schematics. A Vega Prime defector sent shield harmonics for the newest Corfac dreadnoughts. The data came with a single annotation. For the ones who show restraint. Martian dry docks worked, triple shifts refitting civilian haulers with hybrid defenses. Zepyrian engineers modified asteroid mining lasers into short-range plasma lances. Human software teams adapted the quantum jammers to scramble targeting computers instead of frying them. The adjustments took 72 hours. When the Council's next probe arrived, an unmarked spy satellite, Earth's defenses let it scan every military upgrade before gently herding it out of orbit. The message was clear. We can fight, but choose not to. New Alter's Merchant Guild broke ranks. First, their delegation arrived in converted luxury yachts, holds packed with crystalline computing matrices banned under Council edicts. Vega Prime's resistance cells followed, transmitting the access codes for 7 hidden shipyards along the Orion Spur. By the lunar cycle's end, 23 colony worlds maintained open channels with Earth. Their engineers collaborated on warp drive refinements. Their doctors shared gene therapies the Council had restricted. Small rebel fleets began patrols along key trade lanes, their ships painted with both human and alien insignias. The balance of power tilted when a Corfac, heavy cruiser mutinied near Saturn. Its crew seized control after receiving a medical broadcast showing Earth's Zepyrian hybrid surgeons saving a Corfac child's life with tailored gene therapy. The ship now orbits Mars as a living museum, its crew training human cadets in advanced tactical maneuvers. Bennett reviews these developments from her command post beneath lunar Tycho crater. The wall displays show real-time ship movements across the solar system. Human, Zepyrian, Free Colony, even a few stolen Corfac vessels all moving under joint command protocols. The veteran admiral allows herself one private thought before returning to work. They've made their point without firing a single lethal shot. Council traffic analysts confirm the shift. Their latest reports describe Earth's influence spreading through the outer rim like controlled chain reactions. Star systems once firmly under Corfac dominion now trade openly with human envoys. The scout ship Bennett humiliated last month has become a laughingstock among frontier garrisons. On the Zepyrian flagship, Lyra Vex monitors the changing political landscape. Her people were once pariahs. Now their hybrid technology fetches premium prices on the galactic black market. She watches a live feed of New Alter engineers installing Zepyrian-designed quantum computers aboard Free Colony warships. The components bear both species emblems. The first joint human Zepyrian fighter squadron completes certification today. Their training involves simulated boarding actions against disabled Corfac vessels, not for seizure, but to deliver medical supplies. To impressed crews, every engagement ends with transmission of Earth's standard offer, asylum for any who defect. Bennett receives word of another Corfac frigate changing sides near Jupiter. Its captain cites Earth's treatment of prisoners as the decisive factor. The admiral forwards the report to Lunar Command with a two-line note: no shots fired, no lives lost. In Council space, surveillance footage of human Zephyrian medical teams circulates among lower decks crews. The images show enemy wounded receiving the same care as Allied forces. Dissent grows in ranks once considered unshakably loyal. 5 more ships disappear from patrol routes the next day. On Earth, children compose messages for Corfac defectors. The letters contain no politics, just drawings of shared meals, games, peace offerings. Bennett's analysts confirm these. Simple notes demoralize Council loyalists more than any propaganda broadcasts ever could. The free colonies announce formal recognition of Earth as a sovereign interstellar power. Their declaration carries a clause the Council never anticipated: open borders for any species, without exception or prejudice. Several colony governors include personal notes mentioning the Zephyrian exiles by name. Bennett watches the galactic map update in real time. Green markers for friendly systems now outnumber Red Council holdouts 3-1. The remaining Corfac garrisons show increased desertion rates. 3 frontier bases have gone silent entirely. A priority alert flashes on her console. Another, Council scout approaching the heliopause. Bennett checks the tactical readout and smiles for the first time in weeks. The ship broadcasts no demands. Its weapons remain cold. It requests, in halting human trade dialect, permission to enter Earth space for diplomatic consultations. Bennett approves the request with 2 stipulations: no armed escorts, and all delegates must share 1 meal with Zephyrian survivors before negotiations begin. The scout's affirmative reply takes less than 5 seconds to arrive. That evening, across the solar system, human and Zephyrian engineers work side by side modifying captured Corfac shuttles. The vessels won't return to combat. They're being converted to hospital transports painted white with red crosses in both species' medical traditions. The next Council scout arrives with its weapons permanently disarmed. The first Corfac dreadnought emerged from warp at the edge of the asteroid belt. Its main cannons cycled through targeting sequences before the warp signature fully dissipated. 37 more capital ships followed in precise formation, the full might of Council Sector Command. Admiral Hayes watched the tactical display from lunar operations. The enemy fleet massed 3 times Earth's total orbital defenses. Modified human Zephyrian fighters deployed in fluid attack clusters. Their formations ignored standard 2-dimensional naval doctrine. Instead, they moved in constantly shifting 3-dimensional arrays designed by Zephyrian mathematician warriors. Fighters approached enemy vessels from oblique angles that exposed gaps in Corfac point defense coverage. Martian orbital defenses activated Phase 1. Ancient volcanic calderas on Arcia Mons revealed hidden railgun emplacements. Their projectiles didn't target ships directly. Each tungsten slug released a micro-singularity generator upon nearing enemy formations. The temporary gravity wells dragged dreadnoughts out of position, disrupting coordinated attacks. The Corfac commander adjusted tactics. His ships formed a defensive sphere, presenting overlapping shield coverage. His counter came swiftly: plasma bombardment of Earth's primary spaceports. Shanghai orbital burst into flames first, then Mumbai's launch complex. Hayes initiated containment. Protocol. Zephyrian-designed quantum charges detonated along pre-positioned lunar orbits. The carefully calculated explosions didn't damage the moon's surface. Instead, they created intersecting gravitational anomalies that trapped approaching Corfac vessels like insects in amber. 32 enemy ships found themselves locked in low lunar orbit, unable to retreat or advance. Trapped dreadnoughts turned their guns on each other in desperation. Friendly fire incidents spiked as distorted gravity fields bent targeting solutions. The Corfac commander's orders became increasingly erratic. His last transmission before comms failure showed him striking a junior officer. Groundside, hybrid defense grids came online. Zephyrian shield generators protected population centers while human plasma batteries targeted descending drop pods. The few Corfac troopers who reached surface found civilian militias waiting. Earth's defenders used non-lethal neural disruptors, another joint human Zephyrian invention. The unconscious invaders received medical care equal to human wounded. Orbital. Skirmishes continued for 14 days. Alliance fighter losses reached 60%, but replacement ships rolled out of converted cargo docks faster than the Council predicted. Each new model incorporated battlefield lessons. The Mark X interceptors could outmaneuver Corfac drones using Zephyrian fluid dynamics algorithms. Martian sabotage teams infiltrated disabled dreadnoughts. Their mission wasn't destruction. They planted modified life support routers that slowly filtered sedatives into shipboard atmospheres. Corfac crews found themselves fighting exhaustion alongside human fleets. Boarding actions became unnecessary when entire enemy divisions surrendered voluntarily. The siege's turning point came at week 6. A Corfac logistics ship defected near Europa, its crew smuggling out shield frequency data for every remaining capital ship. Alliance engineers worked 48 hours straight to adapt their weapons. When the next engagement began, human railgun slugs penetrated previously impervious hull armor. A Zephyrian scientist named Tal discovered the critical breakthrough. She modified quantum barrier projectors to create overlapping defense screens around Earth's orbital infrastructure. The shields didn't just block incoming fire, they absorbed energy blasts and redirected power to civilian grids. Damaged cities regained electricity, even as the battle raged overhead. Food reserves became critical by month 2. The Alliance responded by activating dormant Zephyrian atmospheric processors. These towering structures converted combat debris into edible protein paste. Children in Tokyo reported tasting flavors from extinct alien worlds in their emergency rations. The psychological impact outweighed nutritional value. Every meal proved the Alliance's technologies worked. Council forces attempted to sever Earth's space elevators. Their drones met unexpected resistance. Civilian climber cars modified with point defense lasers. Elevator operators formed human chains passing ammunition up the cables. The Corfac boarding parties found their every approach contested by office workers armed with construction exoskeletons. Meanwhile, the Alliance's deep space raiders harassed Council supply lines. Modified freighters ambushed fuel convoys using Martian gravitational slingshot maneuvers. Each captured shipment extended Earth's resistance timeline. Ice asteroids towed from Saturn's rings provided unlimited water for hydrolysis-powered reactors. Morale collapsed among besieging forces. Corfac medics reported mass psychosomatic illnesses. Crews submitted formal complaints about continuous sleep deprivation. Earth's propaganda teams broadcast intercepted footage of well-treated prisoners playing hologames with human guards. The contrast with Council media's predictions of human barbarism eroded discipline. The final strategic shift came when Alliance engineers reverse-engineered Corfac drive technology. Their hybrid warp cores allowed human ships to strike targets across the solar system within hours. A surprise raid on the enemy flagship's dry dock at Ceres crippled its propulsion systems. Deprived of its command vessel, the invasion force fragmented. Diplomatic channels exploded with distress signals. Half the Council's member worlds demanded withdrawal. Vega Prime's parliament voted to sever all military ties with Corfac Command. New Alter's merchant fleet blockaded key hyperspace lanes, preventing reinforcement. By the siege's 3rd month, only 18 Corfac capital ships remained operational. Their depleted crews rotated through mounting casualties. Attempts to conscript civilian technicians failed when entire engineering teams sabotaged their own vessels. Earth's orbital defenses recalculated daily. Zephyrian predictive algorithms adjusted shield coverage hour by hour based on enemy firing patterns. The last attempted planetary bombardment saw 90% of projectiles intercepted before reaching atmosphere. The few that struck did so in pre-evacuated zones marked with bright orange warning beacons. Hayes received the Council's ceasefire request during a routine tactical briefing. The document arrived via ancient radio protocols, unsigned and encrypted with broken ciphers. Its contents consisted of 2 words: terms. The Admiral consulted her hybrid command staff before responding. Her reply matched the Council's transmission. Style exactly. Surrender all weapons. Keep your honor. When the first Corfac dreadnought powered down its guns, the event triggered mass defections across the fleet. Security footage showed entire divisions laying down arms without orders. Boarding teams encountered no resistance as they seized engine rooms. On Earth, civilian engineers redirected shield projectors toward a new purpose: terraforming. The same energy absorption systems that saved cities now healed radiation-damaged farmlands. Children sent drawings to surviving Corfac crew members, inviting them to visit recovered grasslands. The siege officially ended when Alliance medics distributed Zephyrian-designed vaccinations to surrendered enemies. The gesture carried more psychological impact than any victory parade. Corfac medics openly wept when realizing the formulas included cures for 6 genetic diseases prevalent in their home systems. Final casualty reports surprised both sides. Earth's military deaths numbered fewer than predicted civilian losses. The Corfac invasion force suffered 80% attrition, but 70% came from surrender and desertion rather than combat. Allied propaganda emphasized that statistic in every transmission. Infrastructure damage proved extensive but reparable. Martian construction drones worked alongside human and Zephyrian engineers, repairing orbital facilities with hybrid composites, stronger than original materials. Downtown Shanghai's new spaceport incorporated salvaged Corfac shield generators in its foundation. Hayes personally supervised the prisoner repatriation process. Corfac crewmen received full medical exams before boarding transport ships. Each vessel carried sealed datapads containing human Zephyrian scientific achievements, clearly marked for public distribution. Disarmed dreadnoughts became teaching tools. Engineering cadets from 40 species crawled through their corridors, studying both weaknesses and innovations. The Alliance published every discovery in open-access databases, including detailed analyses of how to defeat similar vessels. Political repercussions spread faster than subspace comms could track. 7 core systems declared neutrality within hours of the siege's end. Their combined economies accounted for 60% of Council tax revenue. The galactic balance shifted overnight. On Earth, Zephyrian children played freely in parks that had served as bomb shelters. Their laughter carried further than any victory broadcast, echoing across species lines. Humans found themselves learning alien lullabies, humming tunes from dead worlds to orphaned survivors. The Corfac commander stood trial on Vega Prime. His defense team argued unsuccessfully that following orders justified war crimes. The verdict shocked galactic observers: life imprisonment with mandatory participation in medical trials for injured siege survivors. Alliance doctors insisted he receive the same care as his victims. Hayes declined all victory celebrations. She spent the first peacetime morning walking through reconstructed Tokyo, watching hybrid construction teams work. A Zephyrian engineer handed her a prototype quantum communicator, the first capable of instantaneous transmission across interstellar distances. Its casing bore both species' insignias. Martian colonists reported an unexpected atmospheric change. For the first time in recorded history, localized rain clouds formed above Valles Marineris. Analysis showed water purity levels matching those of early Earth. The terraforming timeline accelerated by 14 years overnight. Medical scanners noted physiological changes in human Zephyrian research teams. Both species showed increased neural connectivity after prolonged close contact. The phenomenon lacked scientific explanation, but produced measurable cognitive improvements. Some scientists whispered about quantum-level biological symbiosis. The last Corfac prisoner transport departed under heavy escort. Its course terminated at a rehabilitation facility jointly administered by 7 former council members. The ship's hold contained no weapons, just agricultural equipment and medical supplies donated by Earth's civilian populations. Hayes reviewed the final battle damage assessments in her rebuilt command center. Every confirmed kill came with an annotation listing where the deceased's personal effects had been returned. The emergency defense plans filed beside them detailed humanitarian aid distribution for all former enemy worlds. On the siege's anniversary, the first Corfac students arrived on Earth exchange programs. Their university IDs granted equal access to human Zephyrian research facilities. Campus cafeterias served food blending all 3 species' cuisines. Protesters appeared outside every lecture hall, demanding faster integration with former enemies. not slower. The scarred dreadnought in lunar orbit became a museum. Visitors from hundreds of worlds walked its corridors, reading stenciled quotes from both attackers and defenders. The most visited exhibit showed a Corfac medic's journal, recovered from wreckage. Its final entry read, "They fight like demons, but heal like saints." Drax of the Corsac Legion entered the council chambers without armor. His ceremonial sidearm remained in its holster, the containment field visibly deactivated. The chamber's acoustics carried his footsteps across meters of polished floor. Delegates from 73 species tracked his movement but made no sound. He stopped precisely at the witness circle. The lighting strips overhead cast his facial scars in sharp relief. His voice, when it came, lacked the usual Corsac battle modulation. "We intercepted Earth's medical shipments to our front lines." The statement hung in the air. Counselor Vexa activated her translation field. "That constitutes material support for enemy combatants." Drax opened a holographic display. The footage showed humans treating injured Corsac troops amid active bombardment. A medic in tattered Earth Force uniform applied pressure to a Corsac officer's plasma wound while her own leg bled freely. Timestamps confirmed this occurred during the height of orbital strikes on Tokyo. Our soldiers report 63 such incidents. Drax advanced the playback. Now it showed a human Zepyrian field hospital accepting Corsac wounded without ID verification. Their triage protocols make no distinction between friend and foe. The chamber's temperature regulation systems cycled audibly. No delegate spoke while the footage played to completion. A junior clerk from the accounting subcommittee fainted upon seeing Earth medics perform cross-species organ transplants using Zepyrian stem cell matrices. Drax closed the display. He removed his rank insignia and placed it on the speaker's podium. The polished metal clicked against the surface. "The Legion will no longer fire on humanitarian convoys. We won't attack medical stations. Our last 3 engagements saw more defections than casualties." He looked at each council member in turn. "This war is over." The vote tally lit up within seconds. 12 systems immediately revoked their wartime edicts. Another 19 requested emergency sessions to review Alliance membership terms. Only Corfac Prime maintained weapons lock on approaching Earth vessels until their lunar defense grid suffered a catastrophic malfunction moments later. Internal logs showed the failure originated from a Corsac override code. Jake Morrison arrived at negotiations aboard a converted hospital ship. His delegation included 2 Zepyrian legal scholars, 3 human war veterans, and a former Corsac intelligence officer. They set the meeting table with water from each homeworld in identical glass vessels. The peace accords would be drafted, in 7 languages simultaneously. The new Galactic Charter's first article prohibited mass exile under any circumstances. Its second mandated equal representation for all spacefaring species, regardless of technological advancement. Morrison insisted on including a clause guaranteeing safe passage for refugees, citing the Zepyrian precedent. Debate lasted 17 minutes before unanimous approval. While diplomats drafted legislation, engineers repurposed the battlefield's deadliest weapons. Quantum barrier projectors became interstellar communication relays. Plasma cannons powered terraforming arrays. A decommissioned Corsac dreadnought now serves as the Democratic Alliance's first mobile capital, its weapon bays converted into legislative chambers. Zepyrian ambassadors underwent intensive human cultural training before assuming diplomatic posts. Their transition teams included sociologists specializing in post-conflict reconciliation. The first intergalactic trade agreements incorporated Zepyrian resource distribution algorithms with human accountability measures. Human engineers retrofitted the abandoned council headquarters into a multi-species education center. Its reactors now power language labs where younglings from adversarial species learn each other's histories. Security footage shows former Corsac cadets teaching human children traditional stellar navigation techniques. Medical exchanges produced unexpected breakthroughs. Zepyrian biochemists discovered human neural plasticity allows for rapid adaptation to alien languages. Conversely, human doctors found Zepyrian immune cells could be trained to target metastasized cancers. Joint research facilities now operate on 43 worlds. The Alliance's first crisis tested its principles immediately. A Vega Prime colony ship carrying refugees from a supernova arrived damaged at Earth's border. Morrison authorized docking before the Council emergency session could convene. By the time protest votes registered, 300 Vega children were already attending school in Jakarta. Martian terraforming accelerated under joint management. Superior atmospheric processors work alongside human weather control satellites. Last month, precipitation sensors confirmed rainfall across 60% of the red planet's surface, a milestone originally projected for 2,150 economic systems restructured organically. The old council currency collapsed within weeks of the charter's signing. Independent worlds now trade using a blockchain-style system based on quantifiable resource contributions. A human Zephyrian coding team designed its fraud prevention protocols. Military oversight shifted from species-based commands to integrated task forces. Every battle group contains at least 3 different civilizations' representatives. Promotion boards require cultural competency testing. The most recent fleet exercises involved rescuing simulated civilians rather than destroying targets. Drax serves as head of the Alliance's Veterans Reconciliation Bureau. His office in the old Corfac War Ministry now processes applications for wartime reparations. Approval ratings sit at 97% across former enemy worlds. The first, interspecies marriage between a Zephyrian and human, took place aboard the repurposed Corsac flagship. Wedding footage shows guests from 17 civilizations participating in hybrid traditions. Security monitors noted 0 altercations despite profound cultural differences. Neural scans of Alliance personnel show remarkable changes. Prolonged exposure to diplomatic missions actually rewires brain structures involved in empathy. Scientists observe new neural pathways forming in real time during cross-species negotiations. Children conceived after the charter display, unprecedented. Genetic adaptations. Zephyrian human hybrids exhibit enhanced radiation resistance. One toddler spontaneously developed the ability to see in both species' visual spectrums simultaneously. Medical teams are studying whether similar changes occur in other hybrid offspring. The Galactic Archive Project preserves all histories without censorship. Corfac war records sit alongside human accounts of the siege. Zephyrian exile documentation is freely accessible alongside council deliberation logs. Researchers note truth commissions have significantly lower suicide rates than traditional war crimes tribunals. Drax visits Earth annually on the siege's anniversary. He spends most days touring reconstructed cities, often accompanied by orphans from both sides. Security details report he cries openly at memorials but refuses media interviews. The Alliance's next major project involves constructing stargates using hybrid technology. Initial tests show human warp physics combined with Zephyrian quantum. Mathematics can create stable wormholes. The first test linked Mars and Vega Prime in 3 seconds flat. Engineers project a full network within 5 years. Voting participation metrics shock political analysts. Turnout for interspecies elections exceeds most homeworld elections by 20%. Polls indicate voters particularly value the requirement that all candidates must serve on multi-species ships before office. Former enemies now collaborate on planetary defense. When a rogue asteroid threatened a Corsac agricultural world last month, human Zephyrian ships arrived first. Their modified mining lasers pulverized the threat before local defenses fully mobilized. The rescue operation lasted 17 minutes. Medical evacuations follow new protocols. Wounded personnel are transported to whichever facility offers best care, regardless of species. Last quarter's reports show cross-species organ donations now exceed intra-species donations in military hospitals. Drax keeps Morrison's final negotiation notes framed in his office. The handwritten card reads, "Build the system you wished had existed when you needed it." Analysts confirm this philosophy underpins every major alliance policy. The old council chamber now hosts children's summits. Delegates as young as 6 debate resource allocation using simplified voting interfaces. Observers note their solutions, often mirror adult policies but with stricter fairness enforcement. At the Alliance's 1-year anniversary, Security forces reported 0 active insurgencies anywhere in the known galaxy. The last holdout group surrendered voluntarily after receiving medical aid during a viral outbreak. Language evolves to meet new realities. The word enemy has fallen out of diplomatic usage. Military academies teach courses on conflict partners. Instead, linguistics trackers report ally now appears 17 times more frequently in interstellar communications than before the war. Drax's final act as warlord was donating his family's ancestral estate to House War orphans. Security footage shows him playing terrestrial chess with a human child, while a Zephyrian toddler naps against his shoulder. The image circulated galaxy-wide within hours. Neural studies confirm what cultural observers suspected. Prolonged peace literally changes brain chemistry. Scans of veterans show dopamine responses shifting from combat stimuli to cooperation scenarios. Researchers believe this may represent accelerated evolutionary adaptation. The greatest testament to the new era sits in Earth's orbit. The repurposed Corsac flagship now serves as a living museum. Visitors walk its halls watching footage of former enemies rebuilding worlds together. The most popular exhibit shows a human and Zephyrian engineer laughing over a failed experiment, their tools scattered in perfect harmony. Jake Morrison stood at the podium in the Alliance chamber. The circular hall displayed holograms of 147 member worlds. His uniform bore no rank insignia, just a simple patch combining human and Zephyrian symbols. "A small fleet of refugees appeared at our doorstep," he said. The acoustics carried his words to every delegate without amplification. "We welcome them home." Beyond the viewports, construction drones assembled the first interspecies shipyards. The framework glittered like a spiderweb catching sunlight. The chamber's lighting shifted as votes registered. Approval markers glowed green across the spectrum. No red lights appeared, no abstentions. Morrison stepped back as the Zephyrian delegation approached the podium. Their first act as full members would be to propose expanding refugee protections. Outside, children played in the station's gardens. Human, Zephyrian, Corfac, all laughing in the same language. Food compatibility tests progressed faster. Zephyrian digestive enzymes broke down proteins differently, but their emergency nutrient paste could be replicated using modified algae cultures from Antarctic bioreactors. The first batch passed toxicity screens within 4 hours. Dr. Aaron didn't wait for approval protocols. He uploaded schematics for Earth's most advanced fusion reactor, a terraforming-grade plasma containment system, directly to the Zephyrian's engineering terminal. "Your quantum inhibitors could stabilize this design," he said, pointing to a fluctuating energy graph. "We'll trade knowledge for knowledge." The Zephyrian engineers responded not with words, but by projecting a holographic schematic of their damaged warp core. Human physicists immediately recognized the flawed containment algorithm, the same error pattern that had doomed Dr. Vex's experiment. Together, they redesigned the failsafes using Earth's force field mathematics. By the third day, joint teams were rewiring Zephyrian air recyclers with human carbon scrubbing modules. The aliens' medical officers taught human doctors how to synthesize antibodies compatible with both species' immune systems. Every exchange bypassed formal treaties or contracts. Morrison's standing order was simple. If it saves lives, share it. The most telling moment came when a human technician handed Lyra a tablet showing Earth's global news coverage. Protesters in 12 capitals demanded governments aid the refugees. Religious groups from competing faiths pooled disaster relief funds. Children's hospitals sent drawings made by pediatric patients. Lyra's fingers traced a news photo of elderly Japanese volunteers sewing thermal blankets from emergency shelter materials. "You have no centralized authority mandating this aid," she observed through the translator. Morrison checked the phrasing twice before responding. "We don't need orders to do what's right." 4 Zephyrian engineers voluntarily transferred to Morrison's ship that evening, bringing stabilization protocols for human fusion reactors. Their first modification increased power output by 300% while eliminating radioactive waste. The upgrades required no exotic materials, just recalibrations of magnetic containment fields using equations no Earth physicist had considered. When the Lunar Colony Council expressed concerns about technology exchange violations, Morrison played them a recording from the Zephyrian flagship's black box. It showed High Judge Thoric's exile decree with one critical detail. The prohibition applied only to direct military aid. Medical and humanitarian knowledge transfers weren't forbidden. They wrote their laws expecting no one would help, Morrison told the council. They didn't account for compassion. By the end of Earth's second week of contact, 3 Zephyrian ships had docked at Lagrange Point stations. Their children attended virtual schooling with human classmates, learning algebra and chemistry through translation algorithms. Elderly refugees received joint-designed prosthetic limbs, incorporating both species' neural interface tech. The partnership yielded an unexpected breakthrough on day 17. Human-Zephyrian hybrid circuitry solved the quantum decoherence problem plaguing Earth's AI research. The first stable organic quantum computer booted up using algae processors nourished by Zephyrian nutrient solutions. Its initial calculation, a warp trajectory that could bring the remaining exiles to Earth within months rather than years. Morrison received the coordinates without comment. He simply forwarded them to Mission Control with a 2-word note. Prep. Docs. Ambassador Krex's transmission reached every major comm hub simultaneously. The signal carried no visual data, just a repeating audio loop in 17 galactic trade dialects. Earth shelters criminals, the synthesized voice stated. No evidence presented, no trial footage shown. The message repeated every 5.8 seconds for exactly 18 hours. The Council's response came through formal diplomatic channels. Earth's ambassadors found their access credentials revoked mid-negotiation. Trade licenses auto-terminated. Every registered human vessel in Council space received automated docking prohibitions. The document's final clause authorized lethal force against any Earth ship approaching within 10 light minutes of a member world. Earth security councils convened within hours. Satellite feeds showed 7 Zephyrian ships already in high orbit, their hulls patched with human-fabricated alloys. Debate protocols collapsed by the 3rd hour. Military advisors projected invasion scenarios. Economists warned of supply chain collapses. Then Dr. Cho played a single data file. The Zephyrian genomic database sent as collateral for medical aid. The files contained cures for 12 Earth-specific plagues the Council had weaponized during previous conflicts. More critically, they held stabilization algorithms for Earth's failing fusion reactors. Tokyo had 6 months of power reserves left. Lagos had 9. The Zephyrian data could keep lights on for decades. Construction began that night. Human engineers adapted Zephyrian matter recombiners to work with Earth's primitive nanofabs. The first hybrid reactor came online beneath Geneva 37 hours after the Council's decree. It powered the entire canton without radioactive byproducts. By week's end, 12 more reactors hummed beneath major cities. Medical breakthroughs followed. Zephyrian immunotemplates identified hidden flaws in human gene therapy. Cancer survival rates spiked 70%. Neurodegenerative diseases vanished from trial groups within days. Earth's hospitals couldn't print the new meds fast enough. Shipyards orbited Mars received unauthorized upgrades. Zephyrian engineers redesigned human thrusters using salvaged components. The prototype freighter broke Jupiter transit records by 14 hours. Its hull could withstand micrometeorite impacts that would shred standard Earth vessels. Council observers noted these developments with growing alarm. Their first blockade ships took position at the heliopause, sleek interceptors designed to disable engines without damaging cargo. They didn't account for the modified human freighters. The SS Kyoto refused shutdown orders when challenged. Its new inertial dampeners shrugged off tractor beams. The blockade commander authorized warning shots. Kyoto's improvised shielding absorbed 3 direct plasma hits before jumping to warp. Security footage of the encounter leaked within hours. By Lai. The next lunar cycle, 16 independent colonies had contacted Earth through back channels. The free colonies of the Outer Rim sent 3 unmarked freighters loaded with boron and lithium, materials the Council had embargoed. Vega Prime's engineers transmitted schematics for bypassing Council tracking systems, unauthorized trade routes, formed almost overnight. Human Zephyrian ships developed signature masking techniques, their hulls coated in radiation-absorbing polymers. They ran blockades at predictable intervals, drawing interceptors away while smaller drones slipped through. The Council's Commodore-in-charge filed increasingly frustrated reports about ghost contacts that vanished from sensors. Groundside, the Zephyrians contributed in unexpected ways. Their historians cross-referenced Council archives with Earth's databases. They uncovered 7 centuries of suppressed treaties, evidence that Earth's territory claims predated the Council's formation. Legal teams prepared filings in 12 galactic courts. The turning point came when a Corfac munitions freighter defected near Saturn. Its crew transmitted engine specs detailing a critical flaw in the Council's newest warships. Within days, every Earth-facing vessel developed maintenance issues requiring dry dock recall. The blockade's coverage gaps widened. Vega Prime officially recognized Earth's sovereignty 6 months after the exile. Their ambassadors arrived bearing gifts, crystalline data cores containing every technical specification the Council had ever classified. The first human-built quantum drive ignited that same day, its containment field stabilized by Zephyrian equations. By year's end, 47 worlds maintained unofficial ties with Earth. The free colonies hosted joint naval exercises near disputed mining zones. 3 Council member states quietly reopened trade routes, their manifests listing goods as cultural artifacts to avoid sanctions. The Zephyrian exiles became teachers, their children enrolled in Earth schools, teaching classmates games from dead worlds. Elderly refugees worked alongside historians, preserving languages no one would hear spoken natively again. Human engineers mastered techniques the Council had kept secret for generations. They built warp gates using salvaged parts and Zephyrian calculations. The first test connected Tokyo to a Vega Prime outpost in 3 seconds flat. Council intelligence reports called it impossible right up until the public demonstration. Medical labs on 4 continents began synthesizing Zephyrian longevity treatments. Life expectancy projections jumped 50 years overnight. The same therapies reversed radiation damage in Chernobyl survivors.